Yeah, I think we're back. We back. We back. It's Truth Live, man. It's entertainment. It's digital. Life and times. You see, my Vases is gone. They got a new cape for me. I got some kind of logo, Carolina Truth logo in the back. You know, we had to bring back the element of the show. You know, the live Boo hangout that we've been doing. I think we did about 6 or 7 of them. Gives me a chance to talk to a wide variety of people, fans, artists, bloggers, you know, a garden variety, as they say. So we did 2 episodes so far of the new format. I talked about the whole Yeezus Born Sinner battle, and I talked about Wale's Gifted album. So I want to talk to some panelists today, man. We're going to get into the whole summer hip-hop scene right now. It seems like hip-hop is flourishing right now this summer. A lot of releases, a lot of conversation about who's better, who's winning right now, who's going to take over the summer. It seems like it's an interesting time in hip-hop. So let me introduce everybody, and we can begin the conversation. I think my man Anthem, right, from Duke.
Yeah.
What's up, Anthem?
What's good? Thanks,
What's up, man? What made you want to get down with this and talk this summer hip-hop mess, man?
You know, I connected through Artesia, and so she told me what the discussion is about. I mean, as an artist myself, watching hip hop, it's definitely an exciting summer. A lot of releases from a lot of the seems like a generational shift. So just want to get in the discussion.
Are we shifting generations, son? We shifting? So what's been the best moment for you so far?
I think album-wise, I was really impressed with Wale's album. It's definitely I mean, it's been a lot of dope releases so far, but I was just impressed by that because I felt like it was a really cohesive project across the board, and for someone who's like 10 albums deep, I mean 10 mixtapes and 10 mixtapes deep going his third album, that's kind of a that's a tall order, you know, at that point.
Gifted. So. The Gifted. All right, we're gonna talk about the Gifted. We gotta talk about that. We got my homegirl Ashley Outrageous here. Ashley, how you doing?
What up?
Fighting Six. I got a superstar blogger with me, man. It's Fighting Six.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Ashley.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So how do you look at the scene so far this summer? You know, I know you stay close. You see these guys come from the beginning to where they at now. What's your observation so far this summer in hip hop?
Right now, I'm really impressed with Mac Miller's album actually, and you know, and his whole tour that he's going on now, and everyone that he's bringing along with him, like Chance the Rapper and the Internet and Vince Staples. I really respect him for what he's doing and giving, you know, those artists a platform to come up, and just his album. I have to admit, I've been stuck on it. The production is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of it's his own production too, right? That Larry Fisherman guy.
Yeah. Him doing the live band with the Internet is just amazing. Like his
say that again. Say that again with the Internet.
Oh, the live set that he's doing with the Internet acting as.
Oh. Okay. And you said Chance is on the tour with him, right? Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper, Vince Staples, the Internet, and then a few of his artists from the Remember music label that he started.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Chance too. Acid Rap still seems like it's the big mixtape of the year and stuff like that. I want to get to my man's Louis, right? No, Louis, it's Louis. Louis.
Yeah, that's right.
What's up, Louis?
Yeah,
How are you, sir? Tell the people about yourself.
I'm good, thank you so much. I'm a DJ and a writer and a producer.
Where you based out of?
And New York.
Okay, and you down with this Huffington Post movement, I see, right?
Yeah, I blog for them, and yeah. Down with
Don't be
Huffington
nervous.
Post.
You're amongst friends, man. You're amongst friends, man. It's a circle of trust right here, man.
Okay.
Did you write some recent blog posts everybody's talking about?
Yeah, that's me.
What was that about?
I wrote recently about Yeezus because my mom keeps fighting with me about it. She's like she's like a Kanye West semi-fan, but she's like deeply offended by the lyrical content on Yeezus, and we've been like in a constant fight about it over the past pretty much since Saturday Night Live. And so I wrote a blog post about it. She thinks that he's not a leader and that he doesn't use his platform to actually like make greater changes.
Okay.
And she like can't get, and she can't quite grip the misogyny on the record. And
Misogyny.
Yeah, I don't know. She loved.
Did she like Kanye's previous stuff? She rocked with
Fantasy.
Kanye's previous stuff.
Yeah, she loved like Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and she likes like anything where he gets like a little more emotional. Like she loves like Everything I Am and like kind of the older stuff.
How do you feel? How do you
like,
feel about Jesus?
I think it's brilliant, and I mean, I don't really think that there's another hip hop artist in the game who rivals Kanye in terms of scope and what he sets out to achieve in terms of music, and then his ability to actually bring that to fruition. I really don't think that there's too many people that rival him in hip hop, and also in pop music. I don't know if there's many artists on his level of fame that's challenged themselves so much as an artist and then achieve what they set out to do with that larger scope.
Though, but that sales race with Cole was tighter than people thought, man. We got to get to that also.
Yeah.
The homie Ski Beats is here. Ski, what's up, baby?
How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for blessing us with your presence. We know you produced extraordinaire from Reasonable Doubt to now. We know how you do. How do you see that? You've been in this game a long time, like myself, man. We was 90s babies and all that, 80s babies in this game. Like, how does summer 2013 in hip hop look to you right now?
Some of it is looking pretty good. Some of it is, not really my style, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Let's focus on the good for now. What do you like?
Wow. It's crazy because I'm not really up on current albums like that because I'm always, here in the lab, trying to create albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And I don't really, listen too much to what's going on because I try not to get caught up in that. Mm-hmm. So I might be the wrong guy to ask that question to right now.
You know what I mean? Something you hear in the car, something you noticed. I mean, a lot of talk was about this whole Kanye J. Cole battle, sales battle.
You know what? I heard the Kanye album.
Okay.
It was, I mean, it was like. I don't know how I felt. I felt like about that album. I felt kind of like the production was lyrical content. Nah, I mean he's been in the game long enough to switch it up a little bit. You can't keep rapping about the same thing over and over. That's just my point of view. But I'm sure there's people that love it. But me personally, wasn't me.
Definitely, we want you here for your point of view, man. So I'm definitely gonna come back to you. And we got my homegirl Whitney here. Whitney. Hi, Whitney.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I saw you in D.C., right? You was at my little Crown event with Wale, The Gifted. So do you think the Gifted is the move this summer? Is that the best album that's come out this summer?
I'm very impressed, but I'm also anxious to see what else the summer has for us, as far as like the Drakes, the Big Sean's, and Jay-Z, of course. So
I think Drake's going to technically be September, so we might not be able to.
Oh yeah,
when
true.
Does summer end?
But as far as
that post Labor Day, But
yeah, back to school.
Songs out.
But definitely Magna Carta and
Magna Carta, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and the Drake album. Nothing was the same. I'm looking forward to those two.
Do you feel like this whole Cole Yeezus Wale is just appetizers till we get to the main courses?
Wale, I feel like as far as those three albums go, Wale is in the top ranking for those three. That's just my personal opinion. No bias.
Love right here. A lot of Wale love here with Anthem and Whitney thinking Wale might have been the sleeper out of a batch of albums. I mean, first I want to talk about. I mean, it was much hype. This whole Yeezus versus Born Sinner. J. Cole moving his date up, and I think a lot of people felt like Kanye's history. He would sell a lot more records than J. Cole, and ended up he sold like 320 something. J. Cole sold 290. So I had tweeted that I felt like it was almost like a heavyweight fight where it was a split decision. And both camps could claim victory. Like J. Cole could claim victory because it was close. Nobody thought it would even be close. He sold double the amount of records he did the last time, and nobody thought he could even compete with Kanye. And Kanye could still claim victory because he's #1 again, and he didn't conform to any of the traditional things. He didn't give them a radio single. He didn't do artwork on his album. He just was real anti, but still went #1. So who do you guys think won? Like we know Kanye won in terms of sales, but do you think that it's fair to say that Kanye really truly won, or do you think that Cole?
I don't. You can't. you can't really claim a winner. They both really came out winning because Kanye won.
This is life, man. There's always a winner.
No, because Kanye won in the sense that he pulled off a completely non-traditional album release campaign and an album that's really has no radio singles or anything that he could have used to promote it commercially. So the fact that he still debuted with a big number, that's a win, I think, for Kanye. And then J. Cole.
But the fact that he only sold a small amount above J. Cole, doesn't that kind of signal now that, like I said, Kanye, I've said before, Kanye is like the defining. Let me finish.
Sorry.
Kanye is the defining artist of the 2000s in terms of like coming for the 2000s, inspiring the new generation. And now he's competing with them. Like he's competing with J. Cole, Mac Miller, Wale, these kids that grew up idolizing him too or loving his music. So does J. Cole selling close to him signal that the new generation is now competing heavy with him and that he's no longer way above them anymore? Doesn't that concern you as a Kanye fan?
I think it's hard to compare because I think the album release campaign for Yeezus was so non-traditional. I think if Kanye had a giant single working, even a single that was as big as Power Trip was for J. Cole, like which wasn't necessarily a giant crossover smash, but was a big single. It might have been a different game. I just think Kanye didn't go after that, so it's hard to like have a fair comparison on it because I just think that Kanye's album rollout was just completely anti-going for like any sort of.
Do you like J. Cole? And did you think it was going to be that close?
I didn't think it was going to be that close. I'm not the biggest J. Cole fan, but I very much respect him. I think he's a very talented artist. I respect that he makes all his own beats. I think the record is a good album. I don't think it's an amazing album. I think it's a good album, and I don't love J. Cole.
Okay. It's okay to admit, man. It's okay. Anthem.
Yeah.
You said you all about this Wally the Gifted, but you had to observe this whole, like I said, this Jesus Born Sinner sales battle. What did you make of it? Who do you think can claim victory?
I mean, yeah, I hate to give the cop-out about two winners, but, I mean, that's kind of like my takeaway.
You can't have two winners here at the Truth Live, man. I want a winner. Who wins? Well, then, no ties, man. My man Louis said Kanye still wins. Kanye is the winner. How do you feel, Anthony? Who wins?
I mean, I'd have to say relative victory. I'll give it to J. Cole because I agree with Louis in the sense that, I mean, Kanye, I mean, he announced his album like a month before. I mean, it came out of nowhere. But with J. Cole, I think that it happened to be like perfect timing with J. Cole dropping his album and the type of album that Kanye put out. Like a lot of the young listeners, I came up like relating to Kanye, but I think a lot of the younger listeners are relating more so to J. Cole. And Kanye, where Kanye's gone to me is like it's kind of hard to compare them as artists because I guess transcending hip hop, like the tip he's on is not really within the constraints of hip hop. So the way like I assess Kanye's album itself is kind of like Kanye versus Kanye. And but J. Cole came out with a big win because that's a vote of confidence from the people. The people are really connecting with him, and he's had and he really has the type of connection he has with his audience, like the whole dollar and the dream tour. Like the people voted. People voted with their feet, and they voted with their dollars. So he's got to feel like a lot of validation with people having mixed reviews of his studio debut. So I think it's a win for him.
Okay, Ski, I saw you nodding over there. What's your thoughts on the Yeezus Born Sinner sales battle? And like, do you think that J. Cole can claim victory though because he did so well and like he's a new voice of a new generation?
Definitely, in my eyes, J. Cole is definitely the victor. I mean, quote unquote, going up against Kanye. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy, and for him to sell what 290.
Yeah, there's a difference about 30 to 40K. Difference, small difference in albums.
Yo, good for J. Cole. He did great. Yeah. I mean, and it's a sign of the times. Kanye was relevant when he was relevant. Now he's cooling off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people said, Ski, I wanted to get your opinion as a producer. A lot of people feel like J. Cole's production, I don't know if you've heard Born Sinner yet, but his production seems to be way better on this album than the early days. And he has this whole thing, and a lot of times if somebody's the rapper and the producer, it's hard to get your respect either way. Like, right. I don't know how much you know about his production, but what's your take on that, being the rapper and being the producer?
Wow. It is kind of hard to, pop off, you know, being a rapper and producer, you know, at the same time. But I know J. Cole is a great producer, and he's a great rapper, and you know, he's just work in progress, baby. You know what I mean? He's gonna get better every year, and he's young. You know, he's fresh, and all he gotta do, and he's from the CAC. You know what I mean? So that makes it really crazy.
The finest Vic Ski, the finest Vic, Carolina.
That's right. He's from Carolina, so you already know what it is. You know?
Okay, Whitney, what's your take on this whole Yeezus Born Sinner? Can Cole claim victory?
I think he can, just given the fact that Ye is a vet and Cole, you know, he worked a long time on this album, so that means he put a lot of thought and a lot of energy into what came out of it. And also for Cole not to be a household name and for him to really sell as many records as he did versus a Kanye who everybody pretty much knows, you know, his whole brand and his music and everything. And he has a lot of fanatics, whereas Cole's kind of just getting started, but finding his footing as far as his music. So I think we can say he won. And sonically, it sounds better to me. I would much rather ride around and play Cole than I would play Yeezus. That's just my opinion.
Okay, Ashley, close us out on this one. I know you, like you said, you mentioned Mac Miller. I know you've been instrumental in the career of Kendrick Lamar. There's all this talk of the new generation. Like, what's your take? What does Cole's sales being close to Kanye mean for the culture in your mind?
It's amazing to me how he, you know, sold like not that much, you know, less than Kanye. And I personally was just a lot more drawn to the Born Sinner album. I've heard myself playing it more than Yeezus. You know, the production, like you said before, his production has completely, you know, expanded to a new level, and I was very impressed by his production. Just the way he went about it with this whole album, and you could just tell how much work he put into it. I think, like, you know, you have to respect him, and if I had to pick a winner, I would definitely pick J. Cole, just because, you know, this is his second album that it took a while to come out, and it sold, like you said, like way more than the first one. Yeah. And Yeezus, I don't know, you know, Yeezus, of course, I wasn't expecting it to be like, you know, like Graduation or something, but it's definitely something that you gotta sit with and like get used to it. Like, I couldn't really get into it the first time. Like, I had to give it a few plays, but still right now I've just been stuck on Born Sinner and Mac Miller's album that I haven't really gotten to it yet. But I would definitely say J. Cole's the winner, just because, you know, like the sales, this is our generation now, and he's proving that he can compete with someone as higher up as Kanye. And I just think he really proved himself with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting, you know, part of the conversation. I mean, obviously, you know, you look at the established guard, you know, you still have a Jay-Z, you still have a Nas, you still have an Eminem that are relevant. You know, Kanye now is a veteran, Lil Wayne's obviously a veteran. But now you have, like, you know, Drake and J. Cole and Kendrick and Mac Miller and Wale and these guys. So, you know, and J. Cole came up with this phrase, new legends, you know, that they're aspiring to reach those levels. Like, what do you guys feel about the culture now where you have this established guard that I feel still flourishing, but now this new generation, they really want to compete now. Like, they're no longer just idolizing. They feel now, and I think a lot of the new generation is inspired that J. Cole competed so well with Kanye. Like, what do you guys make of the new generation? Do you think that they are developing at the level that one day we may talk about them on the levels of those guys I mentioned in Biggie and Pac?
But the new generation also supports each other a lot too. Like with Wale's album, and like, you know, J. Cole's tweeting about it, Drake tweeting about it. Like, they showed that same support when Kendrick came out with his album. Like, this generation, they actually support each other a lot more, and, you know, then they want to bring their, you know, these other people that they mess with on tour. Like how, you know, ASAP did the whole tour with Danny Brown and Schoolboy Q. Now Mac Miller's doing his tour with Chance the Rapper and the Internet and Vince Staples and like then Patrick Bronson on a few days. Like, I feel this generation, they actually help each other more so than really want to compete.
No, but I mean, compete with the established guard. Then one day you could look at like the way J. Cole went head to head with Kanye, and people thought he was crazy at first. Like, you know, out of that batch, you know, are these guys we're going to be seeing, and like, is Kendrick going to continue to develop a Cole, or or Wale, and that we're gonna look at these guys as legends one day. Like, is that a far-fetched statement, or is that too much pressure to put on them to say those kind of things?
No, man, it's the game. That's the game, bro. That's how the game always been. You know what I mean? When I was coming up, there was
jumping part. Go ahead, Ski. Go ahead, Ski.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I mean,
no, I was jumping in.
When I was coming up, you know. Okay. When I was coming up, there was legends in the game. You know what I mean? Before we made our mark, before Jay made his mark, there was, you know, a Run DMC or whomever. You know what I mean? Before him, you know, and that's just the game. It changes. You know, you got to pass the baton. They're definitely gonna be legends. You know what I'm saying? They're on their way to being a legend. They're making their mark in hip hop history right now. We watching it. That's not even a question. That's just how the game works.
Yeah, and you have to include in that discussion, like, just also Drake, I think, is like a clear heir apparent to the legendary throne, in my opinion. Yeah. I think in my opinion of all of the new generation rappers, he to me is the clearest because of the level of statement that he makes with his music. I think when you look at Kanye, like right from the beginning, College Dropout was a huge statement and a huge sea change in what could be said in a hip hop record, what could be what a commercial hip hop record could be. And I feel that Drake also has continued that, and also sonically has such a unique and distinctive sound that is so Drake. Yeah. I think that puts him at the head of the pack, in my opinion.
The only thing that concerns me is when an artist kind of creates a sound, then they kind of pigeonhole themselves, because, you know, the thing about having a sound, it eventually plays out.
Totally. You know? And I think, sorry, not to interrupt you, but I think that's what Kanye was, I think, sort of gave to the game, was that he was so, with each record, was able to really expand his sound, and he never really sat comfortably and created the same thing over and over again, even though it was successful. And that's one of the reasons that I respect even Yeezus, even though it's sort of it's new and odd sounding. I respect that he could have made My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 2 or Graduation 2 and like gone back to that, but he really didn't, and he pushed himself.
But sometimes you gotta stick with it for a little while. You know what I mean? Like Graduation and that College Dropout, that shit is incredible.
Of course.
Still. The vibe of it is crazy.
100%.
He could have took it to the next level.
Yeah, but late registration was a great expansion on the College Dropout sound without abandoning it.
To Ski's point, though, I agree with what he says about creating the sound, because with Wale in the beginning, that was the whole why everybody reacted the way he did when he signed to MMG, because his sound changed over the more trappy beats. It wasn't as like uncontemporary hip hop as he was used to being on, like with the 100 Miles and Run-Ins and the mixtapes About Nothing. So when he made that switch, that kind of, you know, people were skeptical in the beginning, but I think now he's proven himself with the albums and the mixtapes, so it's not as a big deal for him to be as versatile on those.
I want to just touch on one thing that was said about I guess like the difference in relationships that artists have today. I think that's a reflection of like how the landscape has changed. Back in like in this game today, like the stage is being shared is like much bigger, so people can afford to have that kind of camaraderie, because I mean obviously the change is the internet. Like the ability to give music to people directly allows people to, they're not fighting over like smaller real estate than how it was like in the 90s with artists who were, you know, fighting, whether it was interlabel or inter-region, fighting for radio time. So like
radio, yeah.
So I think that as far as like the concept of new legends, it'll be something. I think it's kind of like less apparent in the moment, just because of how much volume of music is out and the accountability an artist has for like I said earlier, like Wale, for example, having 10 mixtapes and 3 albums, you know, that amount of content. So I think like 5 years out, you look back, like who was able to maintain, you know, that quality of music with that level of output, and I think that's when you start identifying who those new legends are.
Speaking of which, I want everybody go down the line. If you had to pick one guy who you feel undisputed, I know it's hard, just one out of that batch, who you think could be up there legendary when it's all said and done? Anthony, you can start.
I mean, as of now, probably Drake.
Okay, Drake. Ashley?
We're picking one out of the new batch of artists?
New batch?
Yeah, that you think guaranteed will be up there legendary.
Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar, no bias. That's just my...
Kendrick Lamar. Okay,
I gotta agree. It's either Kendrick or Drake. It's Kendrick or Drake to me for sure.
What do you think?
I was definitely gonna say Kendrick.
Kendrick's
my vote.
Kendrick, man. Kendrick.
And Drake. That must be. What do you think of Kendrick? Ski, you're making me dizzy,
I love
man.
it. I'm sorry. I was eating some grapes. Yo, Kendrick album is dope.
Okay.
Kendrick is like he's one of the best that's doing it, man.
That was the same thing. Like Kendrick's album, a lot of people felt it was up against Nas's album as one of the 2 best albums of the year, and a lot of people felt Kendrick won. So was that the beginning of the established guard going against the new generation, and like you said, them taking the baton and meeting the challenge?
I feel you, but to me, it ain't the beginning of anything. It's just 2 dope albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy how society kind of like he's the best and his album is better. It was both good, and you're just a customer watching it. You know what I mean?
I'm with that.
Cats need to stop acting like customers, B, and just say this is good and that's good. They're both great. You know what I'm saying? Everything is good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always competition. I don't understand that about music.
Well, hip hop
Right?
isn't competitive. Hip hop is an inherently competitive genre. It's founded on competition.
You see these rappers' old tweets? You see these rappers' old tweets?
Yeah.
I think that hip hop is
Go ahead, Anthem.
hip hop is inherently competitive, but I think because of like the volume of music, it just becomes like that conversation is what people need, like markers to identify shit. Like, like, oh, this one's buzzing more than that person, so I'm gonna go check out that first. Like it's kind of like take on a lot of the characteristics of like fantasy sports. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
And
Well,
also,
some people saying that they can't even keep up with all the rappers coming out now. Like they're confused. So much going on.
I agree.
I feel that so hard.
You know what?
The market is watered down.
I can't wait till the shit becomes a little bit more conscious. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm kind of getting the same message. Well, not from every rapper, but from a lot of mainstream rappers. I'm still getting the same messages, and there's nothing wrong with that because I guess they're younger people, and that's what younger cats think about. You know what I mean?
In response to, sorry.
I know Kendrick. Kendrick be dropping some real nice, conscious records, man. That's helping people. You know what I mean? That's uplifting people a little bit. We need a little bit more. We need a little bit more of that in hip hop. Because back in the '90s, I'm not trying to cut nobody off, but back in the '90s, we had like so many different types of hip hop on the radio. We could have a PE over here. We can have an NWA over here, and at the same time, we can have like a Boogie Down production playing at the same time. So you got like all these different flavors and all these different things to choose from. When we listen to the radio now, it's pretty much all
different perspectives.
Well, I think that my one problem with that statement about comparing like hip hop now to the '90s is like, yeah, if you scan the radio now relative to the '90s, yeah, because all like labels had more diverse rosters. You know what I'm saying? I think the radio is reflective of a dying system, of a business model. As far as the diversity of narratives being told right now, it's way more diverse than it's ever been. Like people who had never been participants, like the post-Kanye generation of rappers, like I think there's a diversity of narratives being told. And as far as like there being a new message being told, I think that what the success of Good Kid, Mad City, it's kind of like a sanity check for the genre that people can succeed on like having music of integrity. It can sell well because like who's the last rapper to go platinum? You know what I'm saying? So like I think that was a good health check, for the
changing
genre.
levels of what success is, I guess, right? In some ways, validation. What do you guys make it? Just go ahead. I'm sorry. One more, Louis. Go ahead. Was that you, Louis? Never mind. Okay.
I was just gonna say, and I think, just to piggyback off of what Ski was saying, I just think that, like, in terms of like the Kendrick album, there's just something that the fact that he was able to pull off the concept album and kind of keep that thread, which is such a hard thing to do, of like telling this one story. That's like, I mean, the fact that he pulled that off is like, it doesn't happen that often, and it's worth noting.
I'm sure the Kendrick album helped inspire that somewhat too. Obviously.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nowadays, you could put out a song and you tour for a song. It doesn't. I think now when artists make albums, they're trying to be more thematic because you could just do a song and put it on a mixtape and still perform it live and still get that reaction. But when you put out an album, you're privileged enough to put out an album. You want it to kind of feel a little bit more cohesive, I think, nowadays.
I feel like Kendrick also, like exactly what you're saying. Like I feel like that was like an album. You had to own the album. You had to like have the album. Like it wasn't just about like swimming pools or whatever. Like you had to actually own that album, and that was like a special thing that he brought to the genre.
And J. Cole had records like Chris Tucker and high records that probably didn't fit that album concept. So that's why those records were on the mixtapes. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Jay-Z coming back, man. This Magna Carta thing going right. I don't have a Samsung. I don't know who has it. Who has a Samsung? Anybody?
From those little YouTube commercials, it looks like his album's gonna be crazy.
You like those beats you hear in the commercial, Ski?
It's not so much the beats. I think I'm liking the vibe. You know what I mean? I'm liking how it's looking. The aesthetics of it looks kind of crazy. I hope he do some hip hop.
Yeah, but he's good at aesthetics. I'm worried about it because I just think he hasn't put out a great solo album since the Black Album.
I totally agree, and I hope he does well, man. Because Jay still
he's good. Releasing these lyrics like that and making like
when you guys did a rollout, Ashley, what did you say? Say it again.
I said it better be good because who has a Samsung? Come on, like
it's so silly. I don't get it.
Apple. They should have given it to the iPhone users. Like
it makes no sense.
Yeah, like the whole thing with releasing the lyrics, like I don't know, like that's cool, but I'm still like, come on, dude, like release a song. Like, I don't want to read lyrics.
And also, like,
you see the commercial, Ashley, he wants the whole world on July 4th to, get it over with.
You can't escape these Samsung ads either. You try to watch anything on YouTube or something, and it's all his ads. You see his ads on the TV. It's crazy.
And it also just smacks of like corporate BS to me. Like, I have to say, like, it annoys me a little bit because I'm just kind of like, do we need to have like a Jay-Z album that's like attached to a Samsung product? Like,
if it's banging, you're gonna love it.
It's inherently irritating.
If the music's good, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, if the music, it just better be good.
But are we just mad because we don't know what's gonna happen? He hasn't had a great track record in the past 10 years in terms of solo albums. I was listening to the Blueprint 3 recently, just trying to remember it. I mean, that's like a very mixed album at best. So I'm a little bit on the return of Hov.
I mean, like I'm not really bothered by the whole Samsung thing. I think that I'm kind of looking at the big picture. Like if Jay's doing that, as far as I think he's like expanding, thinking outside the box, and the way I think that's gonna trickle down positively for like other artists to find new ways to make money, and how they put out their albums. Like that's just the difference to me. I look at Jay and Kanye. Like Kanye is the one who's kind of like beholden to nothing and does everything, very creative. And Jay kind of after he'll do it and find like a corporate way to do it. But like, I mean, I think I'm not really bothered by it because he's not like he's not like really in a cash crunch, but he's still trying to figure out to make money. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, does Jay-Z need more? Jay-Z needs more money. Like it's just kind of like make a great album.
Let me tell you something. You can't. If the man has passion to still do it, you should applaud that. I don't care if the album's whack or whatever. If the kid can still do it, it's dope. Regardless.
I love
You're real quiet, Whitney. What are your thoughts?
I'm just taking everything in. So I mean, based on the teaser or the commercial, like I'm excited for it because some of those beats are reminiscent of like past albums or like cuts. Like there was the one So Ghetto. It was one beat in there that sounded like So Ghetto, and I was like, oh yeah. Like I got excited. Like he's staying true to his essence. He's adapting, but he's still staying true to like what he's been bringing to the table. He's able to adapt to what's new and still have.
That's what I'm saying. Like take away the whole business aspect of it. That album's gonna come out, right? Eventually, the CD will come out. There'll be a real album, like by mid-July or whatever. Where does Hov right now fit into this landscape? Like Artesia brought us here to be like, who's gonna make decisions about who's gonna run the summer? Like obviously, it starts with this whole Yeezus versus Born Sinner. Now you have Wale, you have Mac Miller, and now you got a Jay-Z album out of nowhere. Like, what does that mean for the landscape? And is Jay-Z still competing these artists, like probably the greatest. I think he's the greatest, but is he still competing with being the hottest guy of the summer? Like who's gonna run the summer?
I feel like he's just motivated by everything that's going on right now. Probably like I feel like he was just like, and I had heard. I mean, through interviews and stuff, he's been recording. And he's just inspired by what's going on. So he might not say like, "Oh, y'all doing great," but I feel like he's definitely like, "Okay, I see what they on, so I'm about to."
Well, where do you think he fits in? Does any of his legendary stripes mean anything? It's start from zero with everybody else. Like, how do you do it?
It's hard. I think it's hard because I think Jay-Z is the first, mid-40s or however old he's the first person of his generation to be in this position. He's the first hip-hop artist to be his age, to be at his level of success. So he's really like in a zone that's never been charted before. And he's been there for a while, and it's been like a series of sort of like hits and misses in terms of him figuring out like what does it mean to be a rock star legendary hip-hop artist. Like I don't think that there's anybody, he has no one to look at, there's no references for him to make. So everything he does is setting is the blueprint, no pun intended.
Good answer.
I think Jay's like in a place where he's just kind of like regal in his own right. Like he's achieved so much that he's not. I mean, it doesn't really make sense for him to try to compete with the people who are like the Kendricks and the Drakes. I think that this goes back to talking about like two generations coexisting. I think he's inspired by the level of activity by the younger cats, and I don't think it's not really he's a figurehead in the genre, and I think that he just wants to be able to put out like a high quality product, and I think it's good. But if he puts out a high quality product, where does it really rank? Is a new generation? Are we ready for Jay-Z to run another summer like back in the day? Like, how does the new generation connect? I think he's good. Good for like two records that just like he did with Blueprint 3, where he had the on to the next one, and I mean he had huge records on there that his album wasn't necessarily like a defining moment itself, but like he had a lot of records that's still getting burned right now, and that he's like a curator of cool, that he's going to tap people. His album's going to be an event. The people that you like are going to be on the album. It's going to sound good, and he has a liberty to take some risks as an artist. And as long as the records are there, like a few of those hot records, and he's good. Like he's like a figurehead / rock star that doesn't have too much downside as long as he just doesn't completely drop the ball.
Yeah. Actually, how do you feel? Because you're new legends all day. How do you feel about Hov coming back this summer?
I have like really funny thoughts on it. Like when I definitely feel that Jay-Z is inspired by now, yes, by what's going on. But like when I first found out about his album, I was having a conversation with friends, and we kind of took it as, damn, Jay's not trying to let Kanye get the shine, because, Kanye came out with this, he says his album out of nowhere, gives us like a month's time, starts doing these projections, does this website, and is like releasing these snippets and things like that, and then here comes Jay-Z announcing his album, Game 5 of the Finals, Samsung device, exclusive content, la la la, and it's like I felt like he was trying to compete with the marketing tactics, and now Jay-Z's got new rules. I was like, man, let Kanye shine. Come on.
Let Yeezy shine.
I'm excited for the album. Like, it's Jay-Z. Like, I'm a Jay-Z fan. I've seen him in concert like 4 times, and it never gets.
Go on tour again, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. I'm trying to go to that Yankee Stadium. I'm trying to go to that. But I mean, I feel he's definitely inspired by what's going on, and I mean, all in all, with this whole marketing thing that he's doing and the app and everything, I just really hope it's a good album, or I'm gonna be happy.
Yo, Ski, you was there, man. Reasonable doubt. Day one, Ski. What does he make of Hov still out here competing?
Man, I know Jay, and I know why Jay's doing it. He's doing it because he fucking loves it, and he in competition, and he just loves to mangle people. You know what I mean? He loves to grab the mic. He loves to show everybody that he can still do what he got to do. Mangle. You know what I mean? That's what he likes to do. You know what I mean? Is he gonna mangle anyone? I don't know. I don't know how this album's gonna be. I just know that's his personality.
I really hope it's good. I really hope it's good. I got my fingers crossed that it's good. But
it's probably gonna be real good.
I hope so.
I think it's gonna be.
Find out till July 4th. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I tried to get the listen.
I need a Samsung on
It's no doubt about it. The boy can rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Steve, like I think it was Louis that was saying, isn't it crazy that you got to have a guys now? It used to be in hip hop that 40 was a death sentence. Now the people still, checking for Jay at this age, at this part of his career. Like we haven't seen this type of longevity really in hip hop ever, right?
And he's more famous, arguably, than he's ever been in his whole. I mean, in terms of just famous. I mean, my grandmother knows who Jay-Z is. My Jewish grandmother in Rye, 80 years old, knows who this person is. So
he's gonna write an article about your Jewish grandmother's thoughts on Magna
Carta. She doesn't like it, but she knows what's happening. She doesn't like it, but she knows what's happening.
All right, and then also Big Sean's coming back too, right? He's got a new single out, Beware. He's jumping in the ring. Yep. You got excited about that? Ashley's nodding. You like that Beware?
I'm super excited. I've been supporting Big Sean for a long time. I'm good friends with him. I actually did his first South Florida show here. And I like the single. I like the storytelling. I think it's definitely like a crossover. It's going to do good on the radio. Personally, I could have done without Lil Wayne.
Beware single, that's the new single, Beware.
Yeah, I could have done without Wayne. I don't know, like he's just always talking about, like some vulgar thing, and I thought the song was like really like deep and intimate, and then he just came in and it's like, all right, thanks for making this uncomfortable. I think his album's gonna be really good. From what he's told me, it's definitely going to be something different that he's been working on for a long time.
It's funny, Ashley, you were saying the thing about a lot of people felt like here's Kanye shining, here comes Jay out of nowhere. I felt Big Sean saw Drake dropping these records out of nowhere and everything. That was just like, boom, I'm ready to go now too. Hall of Fame, here's my single. He seemed definitely inspired by what's been going on right now to jump back in the
Drake have a release date yet? No. Oh yeah.
Yeah, end of August. August 27th, yeah.
And Big Sean is now August as well.
Yeah. In the summer conversation. So who's going to run the summer? Artesia said we have to decide who's running the summer. When it's all said and done, when we get here on Labor Day, we're going to look back and say who ran the summer, like who had the best, who was the most talked about hip-hop guy, whether it's a legend like Jay-Z or a new jack like Mac Miller. Who's the guy? We have to pick. All right, Anthony, you go first.
I mean, if Drake's lead up to his album is anything similar to what he did in 2011, leading up to Take Care, then it's going to be his summer. Like what he does, as far as he does a really good job of like defining kind of like the sound, like leading up. He gets everyone prepared for where he's going sonically, and I think he'll own. You'll hear it in the cars, you'll hear it when you go out.
Did you like those 4 songs he dropped? The Josie freestyle, what was it, Motion?
Yo, that Josie freestyle was cold. That was cold. And yeah, I like the records. I mean, his MCing is crisp right now. Like it's really crisp, man. I don't really see how anyone who used to have whatever detractions that they have, like I just don't see how you can say it now. So I think that he has, like, the music has an air of confidence, and like I said earlier, like in the very beginning, about the timing of it all, like Kanye kind of doing like the non-conventional sound and just kind of steps out of the way, and I think he's going to do it.
Yeah. Ashley, who's going to run the summer, Ashley? Kendrick's not in it. Who's going to win? Who's going to win the summer, though?
Kendrick
had last year. Who has this summer?
If Drake comes through with the come-through, I think it'll probably be Drake. Drake is he's just infectious. Like the 4 singles that just dropped, they were all dope, especially the Jodeci freestyle. That was just crazy to me. If he comes through with the album and, like Anthem said, what he's leading us up to, then I think it'll definitely be between Drake and Jay-Z, but I just have a feeling it'll be Drake.
Okay, Louis, what you think? Yeezus running this summer? Yeezus?
For me personally, I mean, I haven't heard Drake's album yet, so I don't know. But Yeezus is my personal favorite, just because I'm so interested by it. Yeah. But I agree with my two colleagues that spoke before, and I would say that it's Drake's to lose in the sense that if Drake can come through with an album that equals or improves upon what he did last time, he's really cementing himself as like probably the foremost rapper of his generation. And I do feel that he knows that, and I feel that he probably is putting together.
You guys are almost unanimously saying, I didn't get to Ski or Whitney yet, but like that the setup for the Drake, because Drake's not coming until like mid-September. The setup and his presence through the summer is stronger than albums from a Jay-Z, a J. Cole, a Kanye, a Wale, a Mac Miller, all these guys, Big Sean?
Yeah. I mean, I remember before Take Care came out, I mean, it was just like, you knew what was coming, like that, like was being said. Like, he had like 4 singles working, I'm on one, headlines, like, I mean, it was just like a clusterfuck, and I could totally see him pulling that off again, and it seems like he might be.
Okay, Ski, what do you think? Who's running the summer rap, man? Who's gonna be in them headphones in September? You still listening to?
It's probably gonna be Drake. If not Drake, Jay.
Out here. Jesus.
What do you think, Elliot? What do you think?
I get to the end. I get to be the host. Whitney, what do you think? Who's running the summer? Drake? Is it Drake's game to lose?
I mean, I'm pulling for Drake, and I feel like we'll definitely play his album, but I just kind of feel like the way Jay's going about everything right now and how he's been going about things, that's what we're going to be talking about. It's kind of like if your uncle plays you in spades, like you know that you're good at spades. When your uncle comes and like bust you down in spades, it's like, oh, I had to let y'all know what it was.
Can't sleep my ass down with that spades game.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how I feel about it. But I'm pulling for Drake. But
Jay's coming like he's trying to come with it seems like he's coming with the X factor of having like JT involved and him being like super hot. But the thing about that is like even if Jay has a record with Timberlake and it's hot and it's on the top 40, like I'm just saying from what's already been seen from stuff like started from the bottom, like that's on like Taco Bell packets. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like just defining shit. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where the young people are.
Well, you made me think of another thing, because like earlier, Anthem, you said how much you liked Wale's album. Who do you feel like is going to be kind of underappreciated maybe this summer that's not going to get all these albums out? Like you said, we can't even keep track because there's so much stuff going on. Who do you feel may be kind of overlooked and deserves that recognition? Is it Wale's The Gifted?
I definitely like the thing about The Gifted is and this is just like me as an artist really appreciating where he took the record, kind of like a mature perspective, because like the thing is with artists, it's like after you tell your story, what are you really gonna say? After people know how you got there, how you got to your level of visibility, you made money, you went through adversity, people hated on you, like what are you really gonna say with your music? And I think that he had a poignant message and it was cohesive. I think that like I thought like both Yeezus and Born Sinner, like I thought they were dope in their own right, but I think that they kind of like they both faltered a little bit under the weight of like the concept, like very big concepts, big album artwork, big titles, and hey, we're gonna make it darker, it's gonna be this and that. But like as far as continuity and cohesion across the album, that's very challenging to pull off, And I think that Wale was able to do that with a really high level of MCing. But the thing about it is it's like so even that, and he wasn't really looking to. I mean, the song "Bad" is like the biggest record on it, which is kind of a more mellow vibe. So I think it's kind of hard to draw more attention to your album when you don't have that really big anthemic record. So I think he may go overlooked.
Okay. Ashley, who do you feel? Ashley, Mac Miller maybe you feel is going to be underappreciated?
I definitely would. I'm gonna say Mac Miller. I know some people are still don't want to listen to him, but I think that if anyone who wasn't a fan of him, this would be the project to listen to. It's definitely a little different from his previous stuff, but I just feel that he even evolved as an artist so much more with this project, from the production to even the song like Objects. It was almost like some Sublime type of stuff, and like him singing, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. I think you should do it more. Yeah. So I definitely think this album and Mac Miller will be underappreciated.
Louis, anybody think we're sleeping on this summer?
I don't know if this qualifies as hip hop, but I thought the Dreams album was really good, and I don't think anyone paid any attention.
He went on a little Twitter rant about it. He's like, I make my money from fees.
He makes such incredible records. I mean, he has so many good albums, and this one in particular slid in completely under the radar. It's a very good album.
Really, now, the Dream album is very good. Anything, Ski, you think is being slept on right now this summer? People need to pay attention to it?
Currency, Pilot Talk 3. Jets, fool.
Again?
I say Currency, Pilot Talk 3.
Oh, okay.
Jets, fool.
Currency. What do you think, Whitney? Anybody you think is going to get the short end of the stick with all this rap, all the legends, Drake and Jay battling? Who gets lost in the sauce?
I think Mac Miller, only because on that day he was the least checked for in those charts. I personally haven't listened to it, even though I really am looking forward to listening to it because I did like SDS and I had never really given him a chance before. So I'm looking forward to actually digesting that album. I'm just on the Gifted and the Born Center right now. So.
Yeah. Mac did 100K independently though. You got to give him his props, man.
You know what? I was just about to say that. We can say they're gonna get slept on, but they definitely got their fan base already, and they probably good. You know what I mean?
Well, let's do one more thing before we go. Like, you always talk about summertime also. Like, what's going to be the summer anthem? Like, is there a song out right now that you think that is going to be the summer anthem that exists? I know that Robin Thicke Blurred Lines is doing. What about hip-hop, man? What do we have out here? Whitney,
I'm hoping that Future drops his single soon. Come on, Future. I need it.
You want to get back to the club? Ashley, you ready?
Yo, I have become a Future fanatic since late last year. I gotta admit, I didn't like him at first, but he has just grown on me, and he's crazy. I love him.
I'm so with you on that. I had the same thing. I was like, at first I didn't get it, and then at some point it clicked, and I was like, actually, this is the best thing ever.
The same way. Yeah, you gotta really sit with his shit, and he's oh shit, I get it. Future's gonna come out of nowhere with the summer anthem.
And he's got the best album name too. Future Hendrix. That's the best album name.
Amazing.
Best album name. He takes it on that alone.
We lost Anthem. I don't know where Anthem went. Whitney, what do you think is gonna be the summer anthem?
I don't think we have one right now that's a radio record. I would put my vote in for the Versace jump that
Versace.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I would like that in the club. Like you're gonna hear that in the club, and people's gonna drive around blasting that. But for now, there's nothing radio wise.
Even the non-Drake version, you think? Yeah, the original?
I haven't heard the original. Nah.
I don't love the Wale album, but there's a track on there, Clappers, that I think.
Clappers, yeah. What's up with the girls?
Yeah, that could be the club song.
Anything stand out to you, Ski?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to skip that one.
It's all good, man. I think we have to skip out of here, right? We're running out of time, man. Yo, I appreciate everybody. I don't know what happened to Anthony. He's very informed, brother. We done. It's a wrap. I think it was good, man. We're back. The Truth Live, man. We talked about the summer. It's gonna be very interesting, very cold. Futures on deck. Yo, man, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Louie.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Whitney, and I want to thank my man Anthem too, man. It's the Truth Live, man. Hopefully we'll do this again, maybe 2 Thursdays from now. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Bye.
That's right here, man.
Okay.
Did you write some recent blog posts everybody's talking about?
Yeah, that's me.
What was that about?
I wrote recently about Yeezus because my mom keeps fighting with me about it. She's like she's like a Kanye West semi fan, but she's deeply offended by the lyrical content on Yeezus, and we've been in a constant fight about it over the past pretty much since Saturday Night Live, and so I wrote a blog post about it. She thinks that he's not a leader and that he doesn't use his platform to actually make greater changes
Okay.
And she like she can't quite grip the misogyny on the record, and
misogyny.
Yeah, I don't know. She loved.
Did she like Kanye's previous stuff? She rocked with Kanye's previous stuff.
Yeah, she loved like Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and she likes like anything where he gets like a little more emotional. Like she loves like Everything I Am and like kind of the older stuff.
How do you feel? How do you feel about Jesus?
I think it's brilliant, and I mean, I don't really think that there's another hip hop artist in the game who rivals Kanye in terms of scope and what he sets out to achieve in terms of music, and then his ability to actually bring that to fruition. I really don't think that there's too many people that rival him in hip-hop. And also in pop music, I don't know if there's many artists on his level of fame that challenge themselves so much as an artist and then achieve what they set out to do with that larger scope.
Though, but that sales race with Cole was tighter than people thought, man. We got to get to that also.
Yeah.
The homie Ski Beats is here. Ski, what's up, baby?
Jay-Z, of course. So
I think Blake's going to technically be September, so we might not be able to.
Oh, yeah,
when
true.
But as far as like that post-Labor Day, you know.
Yeah, back to school.
Songs out.
But definitely Magna Carta and
Magna Carta, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and the Drake album. Nothing was the same. I'm looking forward to those two.
Do you feel like this whole Cole, Yeezus, Wale is just appetizers till we get to the main courses?
Wale, I feel like as far as those three albums go, Wale is in the top ranking for those three. That's just my personal opinion. No bias.
Love right here. A lot of Wale love here with Anthem, and we need to think Wale might have been the sleeper out of a batch of albums. I mean, first I want to talk about. I mean, it was much hype, this whole Yeezus versus Born Sinner. You know, J. Cole moving his date up, and I think a lot of people felt like, you know, Kanye's history, you know, he would sell a lot more records than J. Cole. It ended up he sold like 320 something. J. Cole sold 290. So I had tweeted that I felt like it was almost like a heavyweight fight where it was a split decision, and both camps could claim victory. Like J. Cole could claim victory because it was close. Nobody thought it would even be close. He sold double the amount of records he did the last time, and nobody thought he could even compete with Kanye. And Kanye can still claim victory because he's #1 again, and he didn't conform to any of the traditional things. He didn't give them a radio single. He didn't do artwork on his album. He just was real anti, but still went #1. So who do you guys think won? Like we know Kanye won in terms of sales, but do you think that it's fair to say that Kanye really truly won, or do you think that Cole kind of gave victory?
You can't really claim a winner. They both really came out winning because Kanye won.
This is life, man. There's always a winner.
No, because Kanye won in the sense that he pulled off a completely non-traditional album release campaign and an album that's really has no radio singles or anything that he could have used to promote it commercially. So the fact that he still debuted with
that's a tall order, you know, at that point.
The Gifted. All right, we're gonna talk about The Gifted. We gotta talk about that. We got my homegirl Ashley Outrageous here. Ashley, how you doing?
What up?
Fighting Sticks. I got a superstar blogger with me, man. It's Fighting Sticks.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Ashley.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So how do you look at the scene so far this summer? You know, I know you stay close. You see these guys come from the beginning to where they at now. What's your observation so far this summer in hip hop?
Right now, I'm really impressed with Mac Miller's album actually. And you know, and his whole tour that he's going on now, and everyone that he's bringing along with him, like Chance the Rapper and the Internet and Vince Staples. I really respect him for what he's doing and giving, you know, those artists a platform to come up and just his album. I have to admit, I've been stuck on it. The production is just crazy to me.
Yeah,
so.
A lot of it's his own production too, right? That Larry Fisherman guy.
Yeah. Him doing the live band with the Internet is just amazing. Like his
say that again with the Internet.
Oh, the live set that he's doing with the Internet acting as.
Oh. Okay. And you said Chance is on the tour with him, right? Chance the Rapper?
Chance the Rapper, Vince Staples, the Internet, and then a few of his artists from the Remember music label that he started.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Chance too. Acid Rap still seems like it's the big mixtape of the year and stuff like that. I want to get to my man's Louis, right? No, Louis, it's Louis. Louis.
Yeah, that's right.
What's up, Louis?
Yeah,
How are you, sir? Tell the people about yourself.
I'm good, thank you so much. I'm a DJ and a writer and a producer.
Where you based out of?
And New York.
Okay, and you down with this Huffington Post movement, I see, right?
Yeah, I blog for them, and yeah, down with
Don't be
Huffington
nervous.
Post.
You're amongst friends, man. You're amongst friends, man. It's a circle of trust. Yeah, I think we're back. We back. It's Truth Live, man. It's entertainment. It's digital. Life and times. You see my Vases is gone. You got a new cape for me. I got some kind of logo, Carolina Truth logo in the back. You know, we had to bring back the element of the show. You know, the live Boo Hangout that we've been doing. I think we did about 6 or 7 of them. Gives me a chance to talk to a wide variety of people, fans, artists, bloggers, you know, a garden variety, as they say. So we did 2 episodes so far of the new format. I talked about the whole Yeezus Born Sinner battle, and I talked about Wale's Gifted album. So I want to talk to some panelists today, man. We're going to get into the whole summer hip-hop scene right now. It seems like hip-hop is flourishing right now this summer. A lot of releases, a lot of conversation about who's better, who's winning right now, who's going to take over the summer. It seems like it's an interesting time in hip-hop. So let me introduce everybody, and we can begin the conversation. I think my man Anthem, right, from Duke?
Yeah.
What's up, Anthem?
What's good? Thanks,
What's up, man? What made you want to get down with this and talk this summer hip-hop mess, man?
You know, I connected through Artesia, and so she told me what the discussion is about. I mean, as an artist myself, watching hip hop, it's definitely an exciting summer. A lot of releases from a lot of the seems like a generational shift. So just want to get in the discussion.
Are we shifting generations, son? We shifting? So what's been the best moment for you so far?
I think album-wise, I was really impressed with Wale's album. It's definitely I mean, it's been a lot of dope releases so far, but I was just impressed by that because I felt like it was a really cohesive project across the board, and for someone who's like 10 albums deep, I mean 10 mixtapes and 10 mixtapes deep going his 3rd album, that's kind of a...
Yeah.
How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for blessing us with your presence. We know you produced extraordinaire from Reasonable Doubt to now. We know how you do. How do you see that? You've been in this game a long time, like myself, man. We was 90s babies and all that, 80s babies in this game. Like, how does summer 2013 in hip hop look to you right now?
Some of it is looking pretty good. Some of it is, you know, not really my style, but you know, whatever. You know what I mean?
Let's focus on the good for now. What do you like?
Wow. It's crazy because I'm not really up on current albums like that because I'm always, you know, here in the lab, you know, trying to create albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And I don't really, you know, listen too much to what's going on because I try not to get caught up in that. So I might be the wrong guy to ask that question to right now. You know what I mean?
Something you hear in the car, something you noticed. I mean, a lot of talk was about this whole Kanye J. Cole battle, sales battle.
You know what? I heard the Kanye album.
Okay.
You know, it was, you know, I mean, you know, it was like, you know, I don't know how I felt. I felt like about that album. I felt kind of like, you know, the production was lyrical content, nah. I mean, you know, he's been in the game long enough to switch it up a little bit. You can't, you know, keep rapping about the same thing over and over. That's just my point of view. But I'm sure, you know, there's people that love it. But me personally, wasn't me.
Definitely, we want you here for your point of view, man. So I'm definitely going to come back to you. And we got my homegirl, Whitney, here. Whitney. Hi, Whitney.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I saw you in D.C., right? You was at my little Crown event with Wale, The Gifted. So do you think the Gifted is the move this summer? Is that the best album that's come out this summer?
I'm very impressed, but I'm also anxious to see what else the summer has for us, as far as like the Drakes, the Big Sean's, and